after all of this, we talk about where Jesus says, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, Simon, son of faith." And he moved into Jesus reproving Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." Then the next passage. Then Jesus told his disciples, Matthew 16:24, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it." In other words, desiring to preserve it against everything else. Because this life is not about preserving your life. Though I will say, if you're choosing to just be foolish and help other people possess what they were made to possess and walk in what they were made to walk in at the expense of you walking in what you're supposed to walk in, that is not what this verse is talking about. It's not talking about being a selfless martyr and you never possess your birthright, because when you don't possess your birthright, your descendants inherit a curse that they have to deal with. So when your parents die, having not possessed their birthright, you have to clean up their mess. So, for whoever loses his life for my sake, it doesn't say loses his life so that they can possess their birth, so everybody else can possess their birthright, not me. It says for the sake of Jesus. In other words, in the process of possessing your birthright, in the process of walking this thing out, you end up losing your life.
And you become a martyr.
You will find it. Yeah, there's a difference between being a martyr and being a doormat.
You're talking about the martyr that you die for Christ.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a difference between a martyr and what we refer to as a selfless martyr, where you have none of your desires or none of your birthright, and everybody else gets to possess, and you get to help them possess it, but it comes at the cost of you. No, that's not what Jesus and how he intended this thing to function. That's not even sustainable without there being some negative cost that you were not supposed to get. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his messengers in the glory of his Father, his angels. And then he will repay each person according to what he has done. Amen, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. That's probably a reference to John, who saw the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. He saw the end of days.
A lot of people, even in that time, though, misinterpreted what he was saying there.
So, our responsibility, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. It doesn't say take up somebody else's cross or the cross somebody else hands to you. It's specifically the test and the purpose and the everything that is necessary for you to possess your birthright. Take it up. If you have to suffer, take it up. If you have to grow, take it up. If it's your responsibility to be married, take it up. Because I guarantee you, marriage is designed to kill you. You know that phrase, what doesn't kill you make you stronger? No, God is looking to kill you. He's looking for you to deny yourself, take up your death instrument. He's looking for you to embrace the pain so that you can possess what you were made to possess and flourish the way you were made to flourish. Pam, you have something?
Yeah, just for additional clarity, you're killing your will, your bend to do the wrong thing, your bend to be selfish,
Bingo.
That kind of thing. It's a you know, because we're all born with that sin nature, and we are a work in progress. And the further we get more like Christ and less like us, the more progress we're going to make. But that involves a breaking of expectations and the things that way we think our life should look, you know, and because at some point you start battling against not just, you know, not just your teacher or your boss or your husband or your father or whatever, you're fighting against God, and that's not a great fight. There's a thing of let go of the expectation, put it on the altar. Romans 12:1, you lay it as a living sacrifice, yes. And you say, okay, God, what is your will for me? And then stand up and go. We don't just sit there. We don't just lay there like, and wait for God to do whatever and run our lives. We yield our will to Him, and we take up the raw materials around us and we put them together like sons, and we move forward toward what He has for us. But we were not designed to live this comfortable, easy life. That's not God's design. That's not our birthright. A birthright is the hardest problem we'll ever have to solve. And it's a weaving together of multiple principles that you have to get the earned authority to even weave together. And we don't all know what our birthright is and what the problem is that we have to solve. So we have to gather every principle we can, because this is like a Zelda game. You know, if you don't pick up the key in the treasure chest over there, when you get 3 levels ahead, you're not going to be able to unlock that door. If I don't pick up my principle now, I'm not going to be able to unlock the door 5 years from now. I have to walk through the things that I'm designed to go through, the things that God has for me, and even if He didn't design it for me, if I've got something I'm going through, I can find principles in the Word to apply toward it, because then it helps me have earned authority to go through things better. So, yeah, sorry. There you go. Woohoo!
Samus needs to find her bomb so she can grab her wave beam. She needs to learn how to wall jump so she can get her spazer laser. Are you understanding the parable?
Yes.
You know, there's a reason you gotta catch 'em all. You know,
there you go.
Tools in your tool belt.
Right.
Need the flame whip to kill Dracula. Same thing. I mean, there's always a goal ahead. You've got to have enough missiles to deal with the space pirates. I mean, get the parable. I mean, even when you sit down and play your games, there is always a purpose and a parable and a lesson you can pick up. And some of y'all have left your keys back in Palace 2, and you need it to get to the hammer in Palace 8.
Yep.
Look for the resources, push the bricks, check the bricks, drop the bomb here, shoot the hook shot over there, see what you got. Talk to everyone. That's like rule number 1 of most of these role-playing games, most of these turn-based games. Talk to everyone. Some of y'all have a clue back in the village of Raru that's going to help you in Daronia. You need to go back to village 1, get the clue so you can figure out what to do in village 5. Take up your cross. Deny yourself. This mission is not just about how can I get my selfish desires met. That's what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. They had, let me tell you, Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis 18 and 19. There's a passage in Ezekiel 16 about this concept. I'm getting ready to post something on the blog about this specifically. It says here, a group of people that did not lay down, take up their cross, and follow the Lord. It says here in verse 48, As I live, declares the Lord, Ezekiel 16:48. Your sister Sodom and her daughters have not done as you have done, as you and your daughters have done. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister's Sodom. She and her daughters had pride, excess of food, and prosperous ease, but did not aid the poor and the needy. They were haughty and did an abomination before me, so I removed them when I saw it. Sure, the issue was sexual sin, but the stronghold was self-gratification.
Oh, sexual sin is very often a self-gratification issue as well.
Bingo. So the root there wasn't merely the sexual sin, it was the self-gratification. Our responsibility is not to walk in that. Now, I want to toss something your way. If you're going to walk in self-gratification, you will end up in a place of futility and you will not possess your birthright. This is why people with the gift of mercy struggle so much with self-gratification, and why it's such a trip up, because it leads to futility. And the end result of futility is suicide, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or literal.
It's the truth.
Our job is to put our lives in His hands and to grab everything He has for us. Because you're going to need that key, and you're going to need those tools, and you're going to need that wave beam and whips and everything else, the whole 9 yards. Whatever the Lord tells you to get. You're going to need that friendship. You need to look back 5-10 years from now. If you need to call Mike, give Mike a call. If you need to call whoever, give them a call. I have this problem over here that they're going to have 5-10 years of experience, and they'll be able to pour into you in a moment. They're not your pastor at the time, but you can call them back because you've got that relationship. That's one of your keys from Palace 2 to go into Palace 7. You're going to have friendships that you're going to cultivate now, that in 10 to 15 years, you're going to need that friendship for a specific purpose. Some are for a season, some are permanent. And some seasons last longer than others. And it's all so you can beat back the curse, pick up the treasures, and walk into a fullness and a sustainable push flow. He wants you to have a ministry and a life that is sustainable. He did not create you for futility. He wants you to find your life. In order to do that, you got to grab the keys. And occasionally people are going to toss a blue shell your way. Unfortunately, it's part of the reality. But make sure you've got the tools so you can handle those things. Anyway.
Doink.
Love you guys. Do you have something else, my dear? We bless y'all. I know this went in a couple of other areas, and we'll come back to more of this purpose tomorrow, but I just wanted to give y'all some things to think about. Anyway, love you guys. Talk to you later. Be blessed.